Priscilla, Pat, and Bob are in Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons National Park hunting big game with our cameras. And just outside Yellowstone, on private land, there's this enormous herd of elk gathering up for the winter. There were 6 or 7 big bucks in this herd of animals, more than 100. It was just spectacular, right here in a pasture along the Yellowstone River. At the entrance to the park, we found a spectacular big buck. And in the town of Mammoth, there are elk everywhere. As we're driving through the mountains, we encountered several bison. This one's along a small pond. It's a fairly young bison. And then here's a couple of big males right there at the edge of the road. Now we're in the Firehole Basin, and we encountered a trumpeter swan here feeding in the Firehole River. And he was pretty unconcerned about us as long as we were quiet. We got a really nice view of him. Another bison here in the Firehole. Then we crossed the Continental Divide. We actually crossed it 3 times. And we got into the Tetons, and there was a huge snow squall going on. These are some time-lapse pictures I took from the balcony of our room at the lodge, looking at the Tetons with the storms passing over and dumping a pretty good amount of snow. We had probably 6 inches at the lodge. It was above freezing, so it mostly melted. And the next day we had freshly painted mountains. It's been a nice snowfall here at Grand Tetons National Park. And I'm behind the visitor center, and there's this wonderful trail. It's just spectacular here after a new snowfall. All we need now is a moose to come out of the wilderness here. It would be spectacular. Well, there wasn't a moose right there, but we did find moose later that afternoon. This is a calf moose, and nearby is the cow. It's a pretty young one. Oh, there he goes, or she. And there's the mama close by, keeping an eye on things. We did have a big male come right behind the car, but we didn't have the cameras rolling. We went down to Jackson, Wyoming, and there's a bird sanctuary there. These are mostly pintail ducks.
Belong to the...
And there's a family of trumpeters.
Doesn't look like...
Next day was spectacular. It dawned clear, and we went to Taggart Lake to take a hike. Here I am going on ahead to make sure there's no bears. We actually walk together and talk loudly to make sure there aren't any bears around. And here we are at Taggart Lake. We're at Taggart Lake. Spectacular vistas. We have seen grizzlies up there, but not this trip. We'll see a grizzly later on, though. And here he is. As we're driving out of the park on our last day, we happened on a grizzly far off in the woods, and you can see him in the fog. And then he's going to move off very shortly. And I'll end here with a time lapse of sunset over the Tetons, followed by a spectacular sunrise. Hope you've enjoyed our video.